Hello friends and family of Brighter Futures Farm. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be planting some microgreens and harvesting some microgreens that we already have growing. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we got going on the farm. I am trying to build not quite the shop. We're going to build a lean-to shed that we can put some implements in, park the tractor, put some wood in, just keep things out of the rain. We're not quite ready to build a shop yet. We're still working on trying to figure out the whole house piece. But for right now, when I take the tractor out there, I got nowhere to park it. And when I take other tools out there, I got nowhere to put it. So I'm thinking of a little lean-to shop shed kind of deal. And I'm going to design it on Menard's design website. But first, I'm going to do some microgreens. Got to get those harvested. I got some growing downstairs, and I got to plant some new ones. All right, got these growing down here in the basement. Nice and dark. They've been on a timer so that they have light for about 12 hours a day, and then it gets dark in here, but I got the fan blowing. This is all of my daughter's Amazon stuff. I guess you have to fill a dorm room, and you can't take stuff from your own room. You have to order all new stuff. So, that's what we're doing there. Got my microgreens set up over here. Let me turn on a light so I can see. Let's see. Perfect. All right, these look pretty good. Get you guys set up here so I can say the peas are about ready to harvest. We're doing an experiment with the peas because this is my second cutting with them. You can see them kind of getting stringy. Last time they were nice and full, had a lot of leaves. This time they're a little stringy. I've heard you can only get about 2 cuts out of peas. I've never actually tried to cut more than once because all of the other things that we grow in the microgreen category, they don't quite get more than 1 cut out of them. All right, perfect. So these guys are Asian blend, and they're actually really good, but I left these underneath of each other. You're supposed to stack them when you first plant them so that they grow under pressure. And I normally stack them and let them grow under pressure for about 24 to 48 hours, and then I bring them down here and I put them in the light. This time I forgot to set a timer or some kind of reminder, and like 4 days went by before I realized that they were down in the garage, stacked on top of each other. So you can see they're kind of uneven. You see a little bit of growth in the back, but in the front it's still pretty short. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. I'll let them grow for another day or two. They're starting to sag on the sides, and that generally means they're gonna wilt on me. So I'll give them about another 24 hours. I'll come down here tomorrow. Maybe they'll grow up a little bit in the middle, but if they don't, then I'll just trim what's tall, and then the rest will go outside. If we were already on the farm, I'd say we would harvest what we have and eat it, and then the rest would go out into the chicken coop, and the chickens can peck at it. Turn that into mulch or compost. You know, they'll add to it out there in their pen, and then we can eventually use that for some food for the garden. Right now I'm going to harvest these peas because they look like they're about ready for their second harvest. I've done this once before, and they're not as good the second time. I'm going to try to grow them for a third harvest, and we'll see how they do, but I got a feeling they're not going to be very good the third time. I think 2 is generally what you want to do for peas. We'll see how these go. Little cut of the knife, try to keep them even. If you don't keep the peas even and you're trying to grow them out again, then the ones that are taller they'll get some leaves on them faster than everything else, and then before you know it, they're taller than everything else, and then they won't get the light. The short ones won't get the light that the tall ones get, and it'll be very uneven. So I try to keep it even when I'm cutting them. Same with these. We're going to keep doing microgreens. Microgreens have been really easy in the basement. You know, we can come down here, plant them, water them, put them under lights. It's very easy to do, and it only takes about 10 days for a growth cycle, sometimes less. And in 10 days, you get salad for a week. Then you grow another set. I keep 2 trays offset, so I grow 2 trays, and then 5 days later, I'll plant 2 more trays. And that kind of gives me, you know, constantly harvesting at least once a week. Not a lot of mix on the second harvest. So when these peas first reached maturity last week or maybe 10 days ago, the first time, it didn't take as long to mature the second time, but when I first planted them and they matured, I probably had double this amount. Now that I've had 1 harvest on this tray, you know, their production have gone down about 50%. So I'm going to give it one more cutting. I'll give it about another 5 days and see if these do okay. See if I can get a third cutting out of that tray. But it's very likely I won't. These I'm going to water before we go upstairs. Just have a gallon of water that I keep down here. Go upstairs and refill it full of tap water. And I have the perforated trays on top. I have double trays. So perforated trays on top, and then I have a closed tray on the bottom. And I just put some water in the bottom tray, and then I just kind of let the top tray rest on there. And then the water can seep up as it's needed. You'll see all the roots kind of grow through the perforations in the top tray. And it goes into the bottom tray and looks for that water. So it can soak up as it wants. You know, they say if you pour water over the top, which a lot of people do, but if you pour water over the top, that it's more cause for disease, and it's easier for your microgreens to get sick. So we don't want to do that, so I just put the water in from the bottom and keep the leaves dry. So 2 trays. I've used these before. What I like to do is I'd like to spray them out a little bit, get all of the old stuff out, and then I bring them down here and I just set them on the floor and let them dry out, air cool, air dry, and then I reuse them. Got the fan going constantly. Pretty cheesy setup. There's the fan. The fan's hanging from the beam up there, literally hanging by some exercise bands, but blows a constant air on those microgreens, and then I got them set up on a timer. So pretty easy. They're sitting up behind some computer monitors. I got a bunch of junk down here. We are busting out the seams. We need to get out on the farm, figure out this house deal. So we'll go upstairs, plant some more microgreens. All right, good deal. So I'll put these right here. We'll harvest those once we get back inside. For right now, I got these 2 trays. I'm gonna go out to the garage. I'm gonna plant these 2 trays. I started these seeds last night. What I like to do is put them in some water. So just for 24 hours, I put them in a little thing of water, let them soak up water. That is a kale mix. So I like the kales. Kale and radish, I think is what it is. Kale and radish mix. And then this is the Asian blend that I have planted downstairs. I really like the Asian blend. You'll see some radish and some kale in there. But it's got like 4 other kind of microgreens mixed in there with it. You can see the diversity in those seeds, and you can in this one. And it's about 30 grams. So they come in a big pack. I weigh them out. And it's about 30 grams of seeds for this whole container. It's pretty simple. You use pot and soil, but we're going to go do that right now. All right, you get to see my messy garage. I have a ton of projects. A lot of projects going on. Wood projects, mechanical projects. My workbench is busting at the seams over there. Power tools, all kind of stuff. Pop-up tent. I was outside doing some work. I needed some shade. The Shipoko CNC. I'll have to show you guys that another day. But right now, this is what I'm working on. Make sure I got my perforated edge on the inside, solid one on the outside. I do. Perforated solid. I do. Right. Now I literally just have some potting soil. It's pretty dry in here. Get that. Fill these 2 trays up. Potting soil has a lot of big clumps, and those microgreen seeds are pretty tiny, so I like to break up a lot of that, try to get it as fine as I can. The only way to do that is get your hands dirty. Normally I got my kids out here to help do this, but they are occupied with other activities, and normally I'd make them come out here, but their activities are legitimate today. So here's Dad out here doing their chores, which is fine, because neither one of them likes microgreens, neither one of them likes to eat it. I guess if I was growing Rice Krispie treats or marshmallows or something, they'd probably get out there. All right. Got a little board, makes it easier. I usually use a 2x4 and just stomp it down. But if you take this board that's perfectly sized for these trays, give it a little push so you can get some pressure in that And that soil, we want the soil a little bit tight. The soil is moist. And you literally just take your seeds, spread them out as much as you can. Try to get them as even as possible across the tray. 30 grams of seeds in each tray. And then in 10 days, we'll have microgreens that we did downstairs. Once you get all the seeds planted, you just take a little bit of dirt, you want to cover them up, you want the seeds to be bare. So like really, really finely, just sprinkle a little dirt on top so you can't see the seeds anymore. You don't want too much dirt on top. Too much dirt will prevent the seeds from being able to push up through. And plus, if you have too much dirt, even if the seeds do end up pushing through, what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of bark and dirt within your stems. And then when eventually you go to harvest, if it's too tight, the dirt and the bark won't have a place to go, and they'll end up inside your microgreens. And it won't matter how much you spin them, and how much you spray them when you watch. When you harvest, if you have a lot of dirt and bark within your cuts, it's going to be very hard to get those out. You'll probably get most of it out with your teeth because you'll be eating it. All right, super easy. Put a little bit of water, just enough to wet the soil. They're going to be sitting out here under pressure, on top of each other, under some weight for a couple of days. You want to make sure the water is nice, or the dirt is nice and wet. So as they start to sprout, they have the moisture that they need. And then 2 days of being under pressure out here, we're going to come get them and then move them downstairs and put them under those lights. And probably about 2 days after that, we'll start seeing sprouts. So legitimately, just stack them on top of each other. I take this little thing that I made, press down the soil, and I just put one on top, and I get something heavy. Oh, this bag of kitty litter. Keep this kitty litter in here because I always have little oil spills and I'm out there working on something. Keep that kitty litter, but for now it's just going to serve as a weight to keep pressure on those microgreens. I'm still trying to figure out this whole camera deal. Looking at the camera, talking to the camera is kind of funky. And we're still trying to figure out the whole building on the farm. You know, we take it 1 week at a time, see how it goes. For right now, we're still living in suburbia, so we're trying to make things happen. We got the microgreens set. Took 15 minutes to harvest a tray of microgreens and plant 2 new ones. So little things that we can do here at the house before we get things rolling at the farm, we do, and we enjoy it. I'm going to head downstairs and try to see if I can plan out this lean-to, shop, shed, structure that I'm going to use to park things out at the farm. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on it. My goal is to save our money so that we have that money for a shop and for a house. Right now I just need a structure, and it could be very cheap, but I think by going with Menards, designing something sturdy, I can make something that's going to last for several years. So let's see what we come up with.
Basically what we're going to do to build our first structure on the farm, while we're still trying to figure out the whole house design, build the shop, build the house, build a combination of the two. I need a place to put implements. I need a place to put the tractor, and some other things. So Menards Building Center, really cool. And you can design your own structure. So this is what I've done a couple of times. So I always block the location. This is what happens. So if you sign into Menards and then you build something and you save it because you're just curious, what will happen is the local office from whatever Menards you select, they'll call you. And when they call you, they'll pester the crap out of you. So I like to stay signed out before I start designing. So you just start designing here. It really doesn't matter what area code you put in there. Look at that, Kansas City. All right, let's see what Kansas City's got. We'll just select the random store, and then the width that we want. Okay, so the width, I think, let's go big. Let's go big. Let's go 18 foot, and then rafter spacing. We want about 8 foot on center, 9 foot on center. Let's do 8 foot on center. Make it kind of sturdy. Choose the length of the building. How long do we want that? So it'll be 8 times how many ever posts we have in the ground. Let's do kind of long, about 64. See what that looks like. Clearance height. All right, so the height at the back of the building, if we walk all the way in and get all the way to the back, I want it to be at least as tall as I am. So I'm thinking 7 foot. It doesn't have to be super tall, just as tall as I am. Holy cow. $7,000 for that? That's nothing. Let's see what it looks like in a 3D. Click 3D here. Ooh, grab you. Yeah, that's kind of what I want. Something simple that I can park things under. Man, that's pricey. Okay, well, just if we build it right, it'll last forever, right? So let's see what things we can do to kind of make it cheaper. Well, if we change the pitch of the roof, all right, the problem with that's going to be snow sitting on top of that. So let's see, raise it. It lowers the price a little bit. So add an open wall. Well, it's already got an open wall. That wall, remove every other post. Yep, I think remove every other post would be good. So we put some headers in there, and that gives us the ability to drive implements in. And that brought the price right back up. But at least it widens up those bays, make it 4 bays of 16 feet each. So you can park vehicles, implements, tractor. The floor will eventually be concrete. No, I think it'll be dirt and gravel. There's no reason for me to put concrete in there. If this is a pole barn and it was going to be a shop, then I'd eventually put concrete. Dirt and gravel for now. Sidewall posts. Sidewall posts, 6x6, I think. Post embedment. How far is it going to go down? I think 4 foot is below the frost line, so 4 foot should be fine. Footing size, 14 by 4 is the only option they give me, so I'm not even sure why they ask. The grade board, I think 2x6 will be fine for this. A treated 2x6. If it were a pole barn or a shop, I'd go 2x8. I'm going to pour concrete against it. Girt size, I'm just do 2x4s. I can hit a 2x4 through that steel wall panels, pro rib or premium. Ooh, the premium. Let's, if I did premium 74 right now, let's see what it changes that to. Holy cow, $500 just to go premium. I talked to a guy at Menards about what premium means exactly. He said they put a couple of extra coats of that finish on there and it makes it shinier. And it may stay shinier for a couple extra years, but either way, it's probably going to outlive me. So for $500, that's perfectly fine. Colors that we want. I think we're trying to stick with a green for the color, and then for the roof, we're going to go white to kind of keep it cool. I think green and white looks good. Bright white, white, bright white. Let's go bright white. If you're going to go bright, go home. Let's see. Trim color, bright white, overhangs. In-wall overhangs, we don't really need. Sidewall overhangs. Let's see what that looks like. I think I'm going to need a foot of overhang in the back because of the gutter. I want gutters in the back to catch the water. I don't really need anything on the sides. What did it do for price? 76, 71. Holy cow, $500 just for an overhang? All right, let's do the back. See what a foot on the back looks like. Holy cow, man. All right, 9 grand. Woo. Well, I need that overhang because I'm going to put the gutter right here. It'd be hard to put a gutter on there without an overhang of some sort. 4-inch fascia, fastener placement in the flat, just because I'm not skilled enough to do on the rib. What's the difference between on the rib and on the flat? I mean, obviously I know the difference, but oh my goodness. Well, there's about a $20 difference, so let's just go in the flat. We'll go in the flat there too. And then you can have them email you the print. If you're logged in and you have this design ID, you can take that design ID to your Menards, to your local Menards that you had inputted at the beginning, and they can pull up the plan and they can print you out a materials list. With the materials list, what you can do, or you can save this, if you're signed in, you can save it. Obviously, they can pull it up that way. The materials list, they can quote you and set up for delivery and things like that. So I think we're going to go ahead and order the concrete, and we're going to go ahead and order the 6x6 post. And that way I can get out there. I've got the tractor, the post hole digger, the loader on the tractor. So really all I need is the wood and the concrete. So I can go out there and pour the footings and then see if we can make it happen. If I continue here, it gives me some more options. Wainscot. Nah, it's not that cool looking. Gutters we'll do later. I'm not going to go ahead and price them now. Actually, if I did do gutters, what would the cost be? Let's see. Oh, of course, 6-inch fascia. Well, let me go back. Oh, it already changed it for me. So 6-inch fascia, snow guards, no. Man, we're up to $10,000, folks. I got a feeling $10,000 is after the rebate. So, man. Oh, look, the design even put the gutters on there for me. And if you want, you can take out the background so you don't have to see the trees because you may not have any. And you can see the roof or the interior or the framing, which is pretty cool. So if you're gonna do just framing, you might want to do background so it doesn't look like you're inside the matrix. All right, here's the final layout. Oh, that was before the rebate. All right, so mail-in rebate's $1,000. Final price 8,400. I think the final price is before tax. Kind of gives you a breakdown of the building information. The cool part is it gives you the floor plan and it gives you your build spec. So it tells you, 8 foot on center and then what your dimensions are. Go back and look at the 3D building, or you can print the design if you want. I'm not going to print the design. I already have one of these saved. This is exactly what the one that I have saved looks like. And cancel. All right, so let's get started on this. And just like that, we are out on the farm putting roofing tar on the 6x6 post. I won't bore you with all the details of getting the stuff ordered from Menards and then having them deliver it. There was a $200 delivery fee, which wasn't bad, and they couldn't find the farm, so they had to deliver it to my father-in-law's house, which is right down the road. No big deal. But I had the post delivered, and I had the concrete delivered. I may have overcalculated the concrete for all those holes just for these posts. I calculated about 2.5 pallets. That's 100 and some bags. I found a formula online, and then it looked right once I got a look at what was actually delivered. It looked like a little much, so we may have some extra bags left over, which is fine. This roofing tar on the bottom of the post is supposed to keep the post, when you set them in concrete, from deteriorating and rotting out. Keeps the moisture from getting into them, but what everyone's telling me is it also keeps the moisture from leaving the post. So if any moisture gets in the post, which it shouldn't because it's covered in the siding, in the metal siding, so it'll be undercover, but any moisture in it will run down, it'll get trapped by the roofing tar, and it'll rot that much faster. I've heard it both ways, so I'm very interested to see what happens. Hopefully I won't see anytime soon, but if anyone's got any comments on what they think, roofing tar, everything that is in concrete, is it good, is it bad? So this is a long, tedious process. Luckily, it's not too cold out. It's pretty nice. So getting after it. Right now, I think we're going to put this shed right at the entrance here. So where I'm brush hogging is going to be the driveway. So we're entering here. I'm just clearing off an area where we can start finding some level ground, mark off our posts, just give us a clean place to work away from the ticks. I'm not sure what's going on with my date up there. It is definitely not October 9th, 2023. I definitely got to either take that off the camera or set it. Alright folks, I won't bore you with any more of this brush hogging, but basically got it cleared. Did not get the post in the ground on this day. Still got a little bit of work to do. It takes a little time for me to get out to the farm. It is quite the drive to get out there. I got to plan an entire event since it's got the whole family. But we will get back out there and set those posts, and when I do, I will film it. See you next time.